23. Pure fucking chaos. Gaza City. She grabs onto the back of the big cylindrical launch tubes on top of the truck and hauls herself up. The rockets themselves are no threat, as long as they don't start launching out from under her ass. But as she crab scrambles over the top of them to reach the cab at the front, she's forced to reevaluate her assumption that the only active threats would be there, though she mainly blames the half-assed micro-briefing in the air. Proper intel and a full mission brief would have reminded her there's also a fully enclosed cabin just to the rear of the truck cab, which houses the missile crew. On some level, she already knew that, but she still has to react when a hatch opens on the front left behind the cab, and some repurposed rocketeer pulls that classic jihadi spray-and-pray maneuver of sticking an AK out from under cover and unloading at her blind. She drops flat on what passes for a deck, wrapping one arm around one of the launcher tubes as the roaring wind over her head fills with the previous contents of a full mag of good old 7.62. Luckily, she knows she only has to take this for 3 seconds. But then it stops after 1. "You're clear," Dove says, having taken this guy out. She gets up on all fours in the blasting slipstream, hanging on against the wild motion of the truck beneath her, fast crawls forward, then rolls off the rocket tubes onto the roof of the enclosed cabin. Then she shifts left, peeks over the side, and sees the hatch is still open, banging back and forth with the weaving of the vehicle, the shooter presumably now road pizza a half-mile back. Her first idea is to chuck a couple of grenades inside and pull the door shut, but then remembers this is probably the mobile CNC element for the whole attack, Missile Command itself, and probably a big intel haul. So instead, she flips her fire selector to full auto, jams it blind through the open hatch, turnabout motherfuckers, and empties her own mag inside, traversing left to right and back again. Then she pulls the hatch closed. But even as she does this, the smooth steel of the roof slides out from under her. All the shooting must have alerted the driver to the presence of Zionists occupying the roof of their nice Iranian rocket truck, and now he's actively trying to shake her off. Unfortunately, it works. Unamused by this next iteration of the Indiana Jones routine, she tumbles off the left side, grabbing wildly at anything, which turns out to be a vertical handrail to the right of that hatch, arresting her tumble long enough to find a stepladder below with her toes. "Ha! I meant to do that," she mutters, because this actually leaves her in the perfect position. Stealing a look back, she sees the Negev still following tight behind, Dove's steely eye covering her through his rifle optic. Nice. She feels loved. Not that she needs the support. Her primary weapon is already down on its sling, not trailing in the slipstream as it would be on a single point, but staying nice and tight to her body. Leaning into the wind, she leaps out toward the big side view mirror jutting out from the cab and grabs its bottom support bar with both hands. This leaves her swinging forward. Then she does a loaded pull-up to bring her even with the side window, hooks her left elbow over the bar, draws her secondary with her right hand and jams it up against the window, which leaves it 6 inches from the driver's face. His head spins on his neck, and he gives her the most memorable what-the-actual-fuck look she's seen in a while. She smiles back and fires a .45 ACP round straight through the glass into his right eye and out the back of his skull. As his body slumps, she puts 2 more into the head of the guy in the passenger seat, who simply holds his hands up, palms out, in denial and supplication, when he would have been smarter to try to get a weapon up. 5 minutes ago, these guys were firing rockets at babies in their cribs. They don't get to surrender now. She holsters her pistol, reaches inside the shot-out window, grabs the oversized wheel, and hauls it to the left, reasonably confident the huge mass and low center of gravity, plus the truck's slowing speed with the driver's dead foot off the accelerator, will keep it from rolling. It does, its back end instead spinning around and bringing it to a shuddering halt, blocking the street crosswise. By the time Levi has locked up the Negev's brakes, bringing it to a snaking halt, and leapt out with Dove and Itai to set security, she's already collected a blood-splashed laptop from the back cabin, along with 4 phones from the dead occupant's front and back, and dumped them in an SSE bag, which she tosses in the back of the parked Negev. Shaking his head in awe, Dove gives her a gigantic fist bump. "Pure fucking balagan," he says. The word is Russian-derived Hebrew for chaos, which she doesn't know where he picked that up, but one of the reasons she likes him so much is he's full of surprises. But so is their day, and it isn't over yet. Looking up, she realizes night has fallen, and they're 10 clicks deep in whatever the hell's going on here.